Welcome to another YOU Bijou tangle practice. We're using the Zentangle method to embrace our creativity, connect with our highest self, invite guidance and connection with divine. Creating this practice as it best suits your highest self and your needs. For me, creating a sacred practice to just be, and to connect with creativity. So today, setting your intention, bringing in gratitude and appreciation as it best suits you. We'll be using a black micron 01, our tortillon, and our graphite pencil from General Pencil Company. Okay, let's get started. So I'm going to start with my pencil, and we're going to create corner dots. And today I'm going to invite you, if you choose, to, rather than making straight lines or straight-ish lines, I'm going to make some curved lines just for fun. Something different on our tile today. And then I can set my pencil aside, and we are going to get ready. On bijou tiles, often we don't need a string, and yet I'm going to create a string like I have in a few of the others, creating a big version of the tangle that we're going to do, and then we can tangle within that. So I'm going to use this space as much as I possibly can to draw one poke leaf is the name of the tangle we're doing. So I'm going to draw a stem coming out of the corner, and then I'm going to cap it with a C shape. And actually, because I drew curved, this is actually going to go off of the, or outside of the border that we drew. And you can choose if you want to pick up your pen when you hit the line, or if you just want to draw all the way like over it and ignore the pencil line, the border that you drew. I think I'm actually going to draw over it and see how that looks. You can decide for yourself. So I'm drawing this poke leaf shape. I'm just making this line a little bit darker. You don't have to do this part. I'm just feeling like I want you to be able to see it on the camera because I went over the pencil lines, so that's going to make it harder to see. I'm just darkening it up. Okay, so that's one poke leaf. And now within that poke leaf, and I'm actually going to start at the bottom, let's create a whole series of poke leaves. So I'm going to start the same way I did in the beginning, but we're going to make it much smaller. So I'm going to draw these, and I'm going to honor the border here. And maybe just wherever you feel called to make these poke leaf patterns. I think I'm going to go around the edge first, and I'm going to kind of go every other with how my stem curves. I'm going to allow some of them to wrap over each other a little bit. And then I think I might come down this side. We're going to kind of create this back and forth flow, I think, today. I do this tangle different every time I draw it as far as how I want to fill a space. Coming on this side. So this is going to be a very layered version of this tangle. And you can make the stems as long or as short as you want. That just follows right against that one. That's kind of nice. And then coming back over here, going back up. Oops, get back on camera. Drawing this stem. Filling in the space, so I'm kind of adjusting the stems as I need. Maybe another one over this way. Sort of gets stopped like that. And then turning my tile around and coming back the other way. Maybe tucking one more in here. You can see it in there. So we have one poke leaf that's filled with other poke leaves. I'm feeling a little bit like I want to tuck a little poke leaf in here and over here. So just to fill in the border that we drew. So I'm going to go like this. Fill in that space. Like that, honoring that border. So just tucking a couple little poke leaf these kind of looking a little bit like they're smushed in there. I'm going to draw orbs here, one here, and one here. And inside the poke leaf, where we have this sort of background space, I think I'm going to do some like cross hatching really, really lightly with my pen. So I'm just going to, I'm going to do each space on its own, but I'm going to try and keep the angle of my hand the same in all of these spaces. And I may or may not be successful at that. I'm not really attached to it, but I'm just a little bit being mindful of it. So it looks like this background all is the same fabric, so to speak. So if you like it like that, you can leave it like that. If you want to do cross hatching, which I'll do just to show you how that would look different. That. So now it's a matter of if and how we want to shade. I'm debating on, I think I'm going to put an orb on each side of this as well. And close off that stem with a little oval. I'm going to close off these stems as well. And then these stems. And then I'm going to put my pen away. And we can take our tortillon, and anywhere we have, my tortillon already has kind of a lot of graphite on it, so I'm not going to add more, at least not yet. I just want there to be really light shadows on this. So anywhere where a poke leaf overlaps another poke leaf, which I don't have a lot of those, but I have a few. Those kind of just smush together, but I think on this side you can do that. Another place where you can put shading is on the underneath where the stems come. If you want to, I'm going to show you another embellishment just on these outer ones. If you want to create like almost like a folding leaf look, you can add a little, I guess I don't know what you'd call it, like a little curve there on the leaf. And then you could shade the underside of that. So normally I don't use an eraser, but because I went rogue on my pencil line that I did, my string that I drew, I am going to use an eraser because I'm choosing not to shade a whole lot in this original poke leaf that I drew. And so I want the border to be what we drew, but I don't want to actually going to do a different thing here too. I don't want the border to be seen inside the original poke leaf that we drew, if that makes sense. So I'm going to put my eraser away. Creative license, right? To do how we want here. I'm going to emphasize that border and this border. And this border, I want actually to almost like create tipple that, or like those, almost like, so that it looks a little bit like a caterpillar. Just kind of do these orbs that move down the leaf so that it feels a little more complete. I think one more little one is probably good. And I'm going to call that good there. And then with my tortillon again, I just want to shade, I think I want to shade all the way around the outside of this poke leaf that we drew. And this is optional, up to you. If you want to do that, you can, you don't have to. And if you decide to play with these tangles outside of these bijou tiles, I would love to see, well, I'd love to see your project that we do together today as well, but just to see how you use these tangles, play with them, be creative with them. Really just honoring getting the shading around that stem and honoring the poke leaf that we drew. So that background, this background in this one is cross-hatching, and then in these, the background is just shadow. It's just shading with our tortillon and our graphite. So that is our poke leaf. Which direction you like it to be is up to you. I'm feeling like I want it this way. So next step would be to initial and sign. Where do I want my chop? That is the question. I feel like I'm gonna sneak it in just under here. I'm just gonna sneak it in up here. Sometimes I like to connect it into the tangle that we drew. And then turning our tile over, signing, dating, and writing the name of the tangle, which was poke leaf. And this is our Be You Bijou series. And then again, offering gratitude and appreciation. If you have any other like downloads or insights that come in, I will write those on the back of the tile as well. So just taking a moment, appreciating the time, the space, the creativity, all that came in. And I hope to see you next time. Thanks for joining me. Bye.